Hello, I'm Wendel.
Hi, and I'm Deandrea. Welcome to our newly remodeled home in Cardiff, California. So we're here in Cardiff, California, just off the ocean. We have a modern coastal home here right on the corner, and it's about 3,200 square feet. We have this main level, which is the top level with all the views, and the master bedroom. And then you go down the stairs to the entry level where there's 2 other bedrooms, what we call an active room, which is our active room, project room, work room, which also has a great view. And then you go down 1 other level and we have a sort of self-contained studio down there with its own little mini kitchen and back patio. When we first moved into the house, I walked through the front door and I wasn't really excited about some of the things I was seeing. The house did not flow the way we wanted it to flow. It was hard to use it. It was the dining room table being there.
I wasn't a fan of the house when we first bought it. Well, I should say when we first bought it, when we first looked at it, I was like, no, I don't know, it was sort of choppy here. You know, sort of hard to visualize how we were going to use some of this space. It was really cut up. And
whereas me, I walked in and went, there's something here. I didn't like the way the house was laid out originally, but I could there's the guts here, there's bones here we can really do something with. So we started out, Wendel had a really clear view of sort of wanting to get more space outside and move this wall in, and we brought an architect in. We actually interviewed a number of them. They were all terrific, but we decided on the one, and he gave us a plan. And it was about double the cost.
more than double, I would
than
say.
What we had
it was a beautiful,
budgeted.
It was a beautiful plan.
Beautiful. And then we also went through the same process with a separate designer, but there just wasn't the same understanding of how much things were going to cost in reality. So then when we came to Beth and Marshall, we laid out to them these plans that we had, both from the interior and the architectural side, and said, okay, what can we do here?
We had the challenge of going from a separate architect, a separate designer, and now working with an integrated team. So we had to figure out how to bring those elements back into all of this. We had Beth and Marshall over, and we said, okay, this project is a go. In about 2 or 3 months, we got the project back on track. We got numbers that we felt we were really comfortable with. So they were on the job quick, and they were moving very quickly, very deliberately, and the whole time, for us being in San Francisco while the project was going on, we felt like we were very close because we were getting constant communication and photos to let us know how the project was progressing. I guess there's a saying that a lot of people can come out with great ideas and give them to you, but it takes a whole different perspective when you have to own the outcome.
Yeah.
And so architects, they can put together a great plan, they hand it off to the construction people. Construction people now then are responsible for coming into the scope and financial components of that project. With Beth and Marshall, because they're design and build, they own it. They own sort of what they envision, they own what they put down on paper, and at the end they're accountable. And I think that brings a whole different level of ownership into the project that you wouldn't see if you had to deal with a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah, I think we felt like they were as invested in our home as we were, right? They really understood, like you say, they've got ownership, but there was an understanding that they had of what we were trying to get out of this project. And they cared about the outcome as much as we did.
That just, to me, speaks volumes about the quality and the character of the Spaces Renewed team. I think the way I would characterize it is a partnership from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, definitely.
The core genesis of this project started here.
Yeah.
It started about how we could actually maximize the beautiful views that we have over here and create different kind of space and atmosphere that we have here. And so that was sort of central to the renovation as we got started.
This room actually says a lot about Spaces Renewed, really, because we really wanted, Wendel's idea was to bring this wall in so we could have a bigger patio because we wanted to access the space better. And the architect built some great plans, but they were crazy expensive.
And they weren't, it was good concept to lose interior square footage for exterior space, but in reality, we really wanted interior space because that is where we spend the most time. Like the idea of outdoor living is awesome, but not at the expense of your interior space.
Absolutely.
So being able to kind of re-engineer those plans and those ideas allowed us to create, yes, a great outdoor space, but dual living areas to where now they can really use all their space. And before, having a big dining room table in the middle of here really just messed up the flow. And so being able to re-engineer this floor, the main living areas, we're able to really create a special space for them.
Yeah, and I think that that's some of the special sauce that you guys have with having the design eye as well as the engineering eye, the building eye, the process, the costing. We really were able to create the same flow, but without all the costs.
You can do an addition or change your square footage or change the perimeter but not have it actually work for you.
Yeah.
Or you can work within the confines of an existing wall space, and then just by thinking through every square inch, you can create what feels like double the amount of space. And that's really what happened here. Now, instead of having all these little segmented areas that could not be conducive for entertaining, now you've hosted parties here and Thanksgivings here and all kinds of great things. And that's what this kind of flow can do for somebody.
Yeah. One of the reactions that we get from a lot of people is that this place looks so much bigger.
Right.
I mean, that's their initial reaction. This is bigger, and did you guys put more square footage? And we go, no, it's the same square footage, it's just laid out more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I still like the fact that even though we didn't enlarge the patio, is that we have this good inside-outside feel. When we open all the doors here now, the patio and the inside part of this house really becomes more integrated, and it just really makes the space more inviting. And I'm actually very happy with it.
Well, good.
So as you know, we were in this house for 8 years, and so we really knew it. We really knew how we wanted to live in the house, and we knew what we wanted out of it. And the kitchen was sort of open, but it was sort of a basic L shape. The countertop went all the way here with the window here, and we had stools over there. And every time we'd sit down on the stool, the ocean, do you remember? The ocean would just go away.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to get the stools from over there to over here, and we wanted to be able to see the ocean. So we took the countertop out, we put in the windows, which is great because then we can totally open these up. Wendel can go around to the barbecue. When people are over, we've got the little table out here that is the mini-me to the table inside.
And sometimes when you remove a bank of cabinets, you think you're gonna lose space.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, my counter space is gonna be gone, oh, my storage. But usually what ends up happening is you capture it somewhere else, and just a perfectly laid out space feels twice the size anyways.
Yeah, really
so even if we took away some linear inches, we're able to bring all of that back with a better flow and better function and a better appliance situation. And remember, your other fridge was a lot bigger and kind of just crowding this little space. So being able to bring this all together and have it flow the way it does now is awesome.
Yeah.
And the Spaces Renewed team found an opportunity for us to be able to get the kind of quality that we wanted in the cabinets at a lot better price point to fit our budget. So what we ended up with, we're just really happy with.
Really happy.
We're able to do other things as part of this project because we were able to save a significant amount of money, and all this was generated because of their ability to be flexible and consider other options that would really fit the design effort that we were undergoing.
Yeah, and be really creative.
And that's a good point too, Wendel, just being able to look at the cabinets as one entity here, and we could save tens of thousands of dollars by doing some value engineering without compromising quality.
Right.
And then the flooring was the same scenario. Tens of thousands are saved by the flooring choice that we weren't sure would work, but at the end I was really confident that it would. And now when you see it together, it's like it works and it's beautiful. So being able to listen and then value engineer things does not mean that you're degrading in quality or design or aesthetic or what you want. It's just, you need someone to think through it with you and not just give you a one-size-fits-all approach. And then this little space is cool because in your old design, this was a hole in the floor that led down to the front door. So it was giving you kind of a nice entrance, but it was cutting up this main area so much. So we decided to fill this in to create this dining nook, which is perfect because now it's out of the living room and now it's over here where it should be. And then at the last minute, Wendel did trust us enough to put in this door. We weren't gonna do that, but then I felt really strongly about this door being here. And I think it's really nice because it brings in a lot of light and then connects the whole deck and it wraps around the whole house. And so this guy here gives us really good flow. In this space, we wanted to be able to get a master bathroom that had a powder room that was attached, but could still be private. And when you have open concept and a kind of a small footprint to work with, you have to do that. And to Deandrea's credit, she had thought through this space for years and had a perfect vision on how to make it happen, and then being able to execute that for her. It works perfectly. You have this amazing powder room that has privacy when you want that for your guests, but you can open it up completely and then have it be part of the master, which is what it usually is on a daily basis. So having that dual purpose, dual nature ability was just really important.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the cool things about this room is this transom side light window that's integrated into the shower. So what's interesting about this is that the initial plans that we were given from Deandrea and her past designer and architect, all of that was in 2D. So I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out, where is it terminating? How is the tile wrapping? What's going on here? And so by being able to then give it to us and let us do our thing, bring it in 3D, we're able to now see and understand what this side light is supposed to be. What is Dee's vision for this side light? And then after seeing that, it was one of those things with, okay, now we understand what visually it's supposed to look like, but how are we supposed to build it? Because you need a metal person, a glass person, a waterproofer, a tiler, framer, all to be on the same page. And so Marshall's on his hands and knees with many subs and many rounds and many meetings, making sure that that thing turned out perfectly. And in the end, it was exactly what she envisioned, and he really made it happen, and it's a great testament to him.
So did you know that some of the subcontractors call Marshall Mr. 16th?
Yes, I did know that.
Because he'll measure something, he'll be like, it's a 16th off. And they'll be like, what?
They're like, of course it is, that's fine.
And I said to him, like, that's what you want. You don't want Mr. Half Inch, right? You want Mr. 16.
Yeah, he wants to put that on his license plate.
Mr. 16.
Yeah.
16.
So someday he'll be able to drive around with that.
XIXTNH. That can work.
Yeah.
This is our bedroom.
Before, you came in and you saw the wall, and that was the end. Now you're not seeing this as a wall at the end of the bedroom. This is not, that's not it. It's at the very, very back where the stucco is. So now you're creating another 12 feet of space visually. So even if you're not in it every second, visually you feel that openness and that added space and that breathability, whereas before it was just dark and cramped and not able to be used as much.
Yeah, when you looked through from the front of the master door, you looked at a wall. And then outside through this itty bitty little window.
Yeah.
And so now it just sort of dawns, to use the pun for the bedroom. So we're really happy with this space, and it feels very relaxing. So as part of the Space's renewed process, when we had started with our original design, I wanted to have this open concept with these floating treads. The problem was that the original design, as it was drawn, was super expensive, and we had to say, no, we can't do that. We were just going to sort of improve it, but the wall was going to stay, and we decided that we were going to spend money elsewhere. So it's disappointing for me because this was a big deal. This was one of the things I really wanted, but we had to make the exchange. And the framer came in, and Marshall was here. They were saying, you know, Dee, you really can take this wall all the way down. And I said, what? So that's what I always wanted originally, which of course Marshall knew. And in talking with Marshall, talking with the subcontractors, putting together different ideas and collaborating, we were able to come up with the concept to take the wall all the way down and to build the stairs in a different way that allowed us to have the original vision just in a different design.
So as with any renovation, you look for inspiration in some of your experiences. For us, we were fortunate over the last 4 or 5 years that both Deandrea and I traveled extensively, especially within Europe. And during our time in Europe, we got a chance to see different architectures, different styles, and that really provided some of the inspiration for us in terms of how we wanted to integrate some of that into our renovation.
Yeah, both from the design of the home, the colors we selected, the feel, the lines, but also in letting some of the things we collected during our travels come alive. And we really can share some of these experiences with our friends and family.
Yep. So welcome to the studio. The studio here is probably the most sought after space from all of our guests.
Yes.
Because the studio has a kitchen, it has its own bathroom, and it has its own access to the patio which is an indoor-outdoor element of what we design here.
It makes the space look like it's double, and we put these great lights, and the landscaping really helped, and the white and the of the stucco, everything just feels very open and relaxed. So when we started this project, I wanted to get the heating and air systems inspected, make sure that they were working correctly, so we sort of knew where they were before everything started. And as he was leaving, he turned to me and he said, funny thing about Beth and Marshall, the people that they work with always end up becoming friends. I was like, oh, well, that was a really nice thing to say, not having, just being early in the process with Beth and Marshall, but it's absolutely true. I mean, these are really good people. I mean, these are people that we would want to know, even if we hadn't built the house with them.
I can't say enough about Beth and Marshall. If we had a chance to do it all over again with them, we would do it. Yeah. I think the only change I would make is that we would have done it sooner, as opposed to later.
Definitely.